Hello and welcome back to Starcraft 1, and in this episode we are going to be starting the Zerg campaign. Yay! The swarms have crushed the meager human resistance and laid waste to 9 of the 13 Terran worlds. Shortly after the fall of the Terran capital world of Tarsonis, the main Protoss fleet abandoned the Terran sector. Now, efforts continue on Tarsonis to weed out the remaining Protoss forces. We're not fighting the Protoss in this mission, though.
Dang it.
Among
the ruins, there was not a single fucking Protoss to be found.
I absolutely love the voice acting for Overmind.
They can talk?
Yes.
And that you have been created to serve me. Behold that I shall set you amongst the greatest of my cerebrates, that you might benefit from their wisdom and experience.
Cerebral.
Yet your purpose is unique.
Yeah. That'll make more sense when we see what the Overmind actually looks like.
You have but one charge entrusted to your care. For I have found a creature that may yet become the greatest of my agents. Even now.
If the giant brain from Bloodborne had a voice, this is what he would sound like.
Interesting that you would say that, since the Overmind is in fact a giant brain.
Well, of course. It's a mind. Like grave mind. Oh, tremble.
The hatchery is the heart of any Zerg colony.
Now who's this Dagoth?
Dagoth is one of the primary cerebrates of the Overmind that we were being spoken at.
Now, create a drone and start gathering resources.
Now, one of the things that I have to mention specifically is that each of the campaigns starts off at a tutorial level and then slowly builds up the difficulty. So by the time you're at mission 5 or around mission 5 or so, the difficulty actually starts kicking in from the previous campaign.
Enough minerals. Select a lava and mutate it into an overlord.
Yes, overlord.
I like that. I like that. It gives you the freedom to choose the campaign that you want to start with.
Yes, it's a very interesting prospect, and it's why it's why I was always able to play up to around mission 5 or 6 of each of the campaigns when I was a kid, because I was decent enough at Age of Empires 2 to understand what resource gathering was and you know, a basic base defense, but I wasn't good enough at the game without cheating actually complete it all the way through.
Zero
Fiddling
cheat
around with
codes,
metals.
the great equalizer.
Yes.
Overmind is watching.
Why don't video games have cheat codes in them anymore, dude?
That is a very good question. Well, I think one thing is, I think players have just gotten used to the corridor aspect. You know, you have to go from one plank to the next, and from there to the next, and so on. So, and that's also, and I think also it's more control from the developer to get the player to do these games, concentrate on them, knowing how long it would probably take, and then downloadable content. Honestly, you know what? I think that's it right there. It's the answer to your question is DLC.
Yeah, but a majority of the old-fashioned cheat codes, specifically for RTS and open world games, because we had open world games before the abandonment of cheat codes. There was Grand Theft Auto, both 3 and 4, that had cheat codes in them. I don't actually know if GTA 5 has.
Grand Theft Auto 5's got cheat codes.
It does? Huh.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember, okay, GTA 4, you had to access the cheat code menu from your cell phone. You had to text God and say, God, give me infinite ammo and a whole shitload of weapons. So he gives you infinite ammo and a shitload of weapons.
A hatchery can be built upon open ground.
And cool fucking cars.
But I should actually... We're stumbling over each other even more. But anyway, I should actually go in and explain what the major differences between Zerg and Terran are. You notice all that purple shit on the ground, Cloud?
Nope. Well, yes, yeah, I do.
All right,
that was in StarCraft 2.
Yes, that is called the creep. The creep is absolutely required for the Zerg in order to generate any sort of buildings, and the farther along your creep are, the better it is for your units, as your units gain additional advantages while on creep. I think for the most part it's attack speed, attack and movement speed that they get, but they might actually get also get damage and range. I don't think that they get damage and range, but I know that they also regenerate faster, as these are true biological units. They have the ability to regen over time.
These things are disgusting.
I wouldn't say that they're disgusting.
They're revolting.
Or revolting, to be perfectly honest. I mean, like the only revolting creature that the Zerg actually have is actually the Queen, and we won't see her for a while.
Dang it! Is it true that you are the son of what's his name, Phoenix?
No, Zaz is not actually the son of anyone. I mean, biologically, he's probably the son of the Overmind, but yeah. But yes.
Okay, so just like in the Terran campaign, every vehicle has like a little pilot, and you can see the pilot in the view. That's your Lord and Master. That's Squiddy.
That's
Chunky,
actually the egg.
And that's David. George.
I do actually enjoy the portraits that we get, though. They are nice, especially as they are somewhat animated.
Yeah. It's like you check in on these guys, and you check in on the other guy. What is that?
They don't speak English at us, though. None of the Zerg units speak English, at least. The Zerg heroes do, but the individual Zerg units do not.
They communicate exclusively by squishing sound effects and like squeezing silly putty while covered in lubricant in your hands.
That's because they're mostly insectoids.
So all we're doing is just growing units?
Yes and no. Right now we're building our base in order to eventually be able to take down the Terran force in the top right corner.
Of course we're going after the Terrans.
Well, yeah, we're on Tarsonis.
Good.
Now, to be perfectly honest, you don't really need base defenses in this mission, but I choose to build them anyway because, you know, eventually the AI will like send small attack forces like this. Go, Zerglings!
Oh, he's dealing one unit of damage every 4 seconds.
Honestly, I should have built another hatchery to increase my unit spawn speed. Oh, look, I'm building another hatchery to increase my unit spawn speed. That is one problem that that Zerg actually has that I really don't like working around. The hatchery is not only the central, is not only where you end up gathering all of your resources to, it's also where you spawn all of your units. I don't like that about Zerg, and it's never something that I'm able to fully cope with.
Because the Terrans have producing buildings for vehicles, for infantry, for ghosts, but everything has to come out of just this one type of hatchery?
Yep. Although you still need these support buildings in order to make them.
I see. So it makes you have to pick and choose which units you produce at a time.
Kinda.
Well then.
Because eventually, a maxed out base will have almost all of the different unit unlocked buildings.
Like, okay, the ones on the left are gonna get my squishies, and the one on the right is gonna get my flakies and my flies.
There are no jump cuts in this episode, as far as I remember. Specifically because, you know, all we're really doing is building up our massive hydralisks and then sending them out. Long time is a small.
I like it.
Yeah, forever. Hydralisks are in fact the best unit in the game for Zerg. Plenty of people will.
Hydralisks.
Plenty of people will tell you that that the best unit in the game is actually a tie between Zerglings and Defilers. These people are idiots. Hydralisks are easily the best unit in the game for Zerg, and in fact, they're almost the best unit in the game entirely because of how damage types actually come into play. The Hydras deal bonus damage to almost every
type of damage defense.
It's not
Gotcha.
It's not actually a defensive stat. It's an offensive stat because as we went through a little bit in the Terran campaign towards the tail end, there are different units and buildings have different sizes. Buildings are always classified as large units. So the fact that Hydralisks do medium damage means that they actually deal bonus damage to both small and medium units. Small and large units. So since a majority of the units of the other factions are either small or large, as opposed to medium, like seriously, Hydras and I think Wraiths are the only medium units in the entire game, and Wraiths are a Terran unit. And since Wraiths are an aerial unit, Hydras just stomp them because the Wraith's ground attack is so shit.
Now, how much do Hydralisks cost to produce?
75 minerals and 25 gas.
Fuck, you need Vespene.
You do need Vespene, but that's not the problem because they're still a tier 1 unit. So, you know, they're also really low on Vespene as opposed to, you know, a majority of what would be their actual counters. Specifically, siege tanks with support are really good against Hydralisks, but it's like the Terran's only answer. Even a fleet of 12 battlecruisers will still take some pretty heavy losses against 12 Hydralisks without using a model cannon.
Yeah, so the Hydralisk is like if Marines were a little more durable and they dealt a little more damage, but they can attack anything.
Yeah, Hydralisks are just better Marines, to be perfectly honest. And Marines are already the Terran's second best unit.
I see that the enemy has paid great attention in order to adapt and make fun of what they're doing every day.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
And then, of course, you have the Protoss' Dragoon, which is technically just a better Hydralisk, but it's actually a worse Hydralisk because it's a large unit.
Well, no. I think it's time we wrapped up this mission right here. We are about to corner the enemy. They are sending out firemen and the village people after us.
And as we all know, Hydralisks just eat village people.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the
And there we go. And in the next part, we will continue on with the Zerg campaign.
Sweet. Yes, my minions.